Okay, well, let's see. Okay, using these values, I get this, okay? Then I plot, now, without putting any scale on here, I just plotted a parabola, okay? Now you could use your 1 and your 2 and your -1 and your -2 to plot the points, but I wouldn't label them, okay? So it's like, maybe when you originally do it, this is 4, okay? -2, -1, 1, 2, but you don't label it that way. Then you label this point, well, let's start here. Label this point so that it fits here, okay? Which means X should be 100, Y should be 200, okay? And this point, X should be 50, and Y should be 50. There's 200, so divide that 100. Okay, scale isn't great, but you know, get the general picture. Okay, and then -50, -200, and then your 12.5. Well, that's going to be in here, and there's your graph. Does that make sense? So now that you have this, and we'll talk a little bit more about how you might get this. Now that we've got this, how are we going to horizontally and vertically shift it? What do you want first, vertical or horizontal? Somebody pick one so we can go on.
Vertical.
Vertical. That's not the one I want. No. Okay. Okay, vertical. So we got to go 40 units up, right? So how far is 40? Well, this is 50 right here, so here's 40, right? Is that clear? 200, 150, that's 40. Okay? So we vertically shift every point 40 units. What do? Take every point of this graph and move it up this far. And we don't have to just do it with the points that we've plotted. We can do it with every point of the graph, as long as the arrows all have the same length and all go in the vertical direction, because that's what a vertical shift does, right? So now we've got this. So this graph is now y equals 0.02x squared. This graph is y equals what?
0.02x squared.
Yeah, because every y value, we've added 40, right? If we add 40 to these, we get plus 40, right? Of course, that's going to be this. That's 0.02x squared plus 40. Okay, then what do we have to do?
We have to do the horizontal shift.
Yeah, well, the vertex is now at 0, 40, right? So we got to do a horizontal shift to get it over to 120, right? Well, how big is 120? It would go from 0 out to about here, right? Okay? So vertical shift 40 represented by an arrow of length 40, right? Horizontal shift 120 is as long as that vector. So every point of the already shifted graph, right? The vertically shifted graph then gets horizontally shifted that far. As long as all these arrows are the same length, we get a bunch of points over here that we can connect. Probably a little further over, but here you get a really good looking parabola, don't you think? All right? Well, I wasn't, measure these things. That one was too long. Okay, that one's about right. That one's about right, but I made that one too darn long, right? So I got a distortion. Okay, and this one, that's about right. This one, yeah, the rest of them are about right, but that one kind of still doesn't work out real great. But that's what it is, and if yours is as bad as this one, I'll have to accept it. Okay? So you're showing the process, okay? Now what is this function? Y equals what? What's a horizontal shift? What's that? Algebraic? I'm sorry?
X minus H.
Yeah, you're going to replace x by x minus whatever the horizontal shift is, right? So we're going to replace x by x minus 120. Make sense? And, kind of remember to put the square on there like I don't. Okay?
And be plus 40, right?
Yeah. When you said x minus h, that was good, that was good. You're trying to get me and you got me. Okay? And you did that just so you could correct me, but I respect that. Okay, very good. Like I say, you got to keep an eye on me. You never know what I'm going to write down. I'll give you the right process, but who knows how I'm going to write it, We'll get it right before we're done. Okay? Make sense? Okay, now, the horizontal and vertical shifts ought to be straightforward. Everybody ought to be doing those right. Okay? I think pretty much, I can't identify anybody right off the hand that wasn't doing them right. Most people were doing these pretty well. Okay? But let's go back to how this accomplishes the vertical shift, or vertical stretch. Okay? And actually we're going to, when we have big vertical stretches, we're just going to have to rescale the graph. Okay? So, let me talk about that.